Okay, we are live.
No, you're not.
Yes, we are.
No, you're not.
Don't disagree. Don't be contrarian.
Nuh-uh.
I'm gonna be contrarian.
We're gonna have enough to complain about tonight.
Well, maybe if someone hadn't decided to play every fucking mana game, we wouldn't be so angry.
I
all
will
the time.
state again that this
This
is.
will at least be funnier than the other ones that
I-
all suck
I-
shit to watch.
I mean, this is the game that, vaguely thanks to the Musashi sequel, is part of the reason we're doing this at all. So
Don't pin this on goddamn Musashi. It didn't do shit to deserve this.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
like-
this is also a PS2 game that, like the
Much like
so
Hidden
it's a
Invasion.
PS2 game. If that's the only criteria, why the fuck aren't you playing Gungrave?
let me. We already played Gungrave, and let me finish the
We'll play it
statement
again.
that it's a game I played for a half hour. Said, "Well, this ain't no good," and haven't played it again since 2007. So I like having an excuse.
That's not.
Is-
You could have hurt yourself on your own time.
Yeah.
Nope. This is my
2007,
excuse.
when Power Up came out.
I get so mad at you, Goggle Bob. So mad.
Chromes, I honestly thought you were going to say 2007 before I was born.
No, it's after,
It's 1 year.
but only
after.
just.
Right? Sorry, I don't mean to be picking on your age. but-
Oh God, I hate these little fuckers.
Hey, I like these little fuckers in
Jesus
their
Christ,
usual
this looks
games,
awful.
But they do not look great here.
I don't think it looks awful. I don't like.
No, it looks awful.
I don't hate it quite as Fanboy hates it, but like it's definitely weird. There is an intentionality here, but
This
it
is
sucks.
a dreadful attempt to translate these designs into 3D.
I mean,
It's
these.
definitely early 2000s PlayStation.
I
I
mean,
love
these were designs
Yeah.
Except in
originally
the late
like
2000s.
Yeah.
like meant to be stickers. They really never were meant for 3D.
okay,
Yeah,
so
but
like
there's good transitions into 3D, and then there's this awful, precious moments like Love Is bullshit.
yeah, I could see that. Yeah, no, that's what it is.
You know what you two need? A little comic called Love Is.
I don't.
It's about two
It's
naked
a comic about
8-year-olds.
two naked 8-year-olds who are married.
Oh, fucking A.
One of the most horrifying Simpsons jokes ever.
Absolutely. Okay, so wow, fucking Bratz doll mermaid over here. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this sucks shit already.
I mean, like sometimes I think, hey, so like did we actually like gain anything by going from Bratz to Funko? Because I feel like that was a step backwards. And Bratz were already bad.
Funko at least is not implicitly sexualizing teenage girls.
All right, sure, I'll give him that one. Sure.
Yeah, brats are aspirational.
Are they?
Nobody wants to look like a Funko.
I suppose so.
I'm still
Only-
so mad that I didn't. I'm not into Funkos at all, but the one that I have purchased, I was very mad to find out was not a bobblehead. Apparently, only the Disney Funkos are bobbleheads, or were at
There
the
are
time.
any Funkos that are
I was about to
bobbleheads?
say I was
didn't
I was
realize they
amazed
were
to learn that was
bobbleheads.
a thing.
I
Um,
had no idea
but
there was such a thing as a Funko bobblehead.
The one that I bought was the fucking Fallout bobblehead that doesn't bobblehead.
Bro, they
So I
gave me they fucking gave me one of those when I bought Fallout 3. If I go back to my parents' place, I can send that to you.
I also
better find
own
it.
exactly one Funko. I did not buy it, it was a gift. And it is the rabbit from FNAF. Bonnie?
Bonnie.
Bonnie Rabbit.
Okay.
I grew up with FNAF. This is-
Yes, we know you're young.
Yeah, keep bragging about all the beautiful potential you have in your life.
I'm sorry, I actually stole that joke from an episode of Community. We get it, you're young.
Prologue, more than friends. With benefits? Question mark. I
What
will
the fuck?
I will decide if I'm committing to that once I see like the characters again.
Oh god.
I mean, they
Well,
basically
definitely not that one.
it's PS2. They basically look like Kingdom Hearts characters.
So we're just going to say
Kingdom
no.
Hearts has way
then.
better art design than this. Fuck you.
I said basically,
like-
and it said good.
Like years and years ago, I got like a Garnet Funko Pop from Hot Topic for like $12.
Don't know if that's cheap or not. I don't know what Funkos go for.
That's about the normal price, I think.
That was ages ago. I don't even know if I have that thing anymore. And I also got like, it was like a keychain, and it was just like a smaller Funko Pop of like Steven Universe.
What the fuck?
Ah, yes, Mr. Universe.
No, Mr. Universe is
No,
his
you
father.
Yes.
Okay, so, like, I don't know, like, help me out here. To this
No.
point, every single mana game, I have stared at you playing it and went, oh my god, this looks like such terrible, unfun bullshit. Why do people like this? And the only response I've gotten is because it's pretty. This doesn't even manage that.
Oh no! Even mana fans do not like this game.
No,
Okay.
there.
good.
I'm not certain I've ever met anyone that would defend this game. Like, there is no like Shadow the Hedgehog fan here that speaks up for Dawn of
I
Mana.
speak for the trees. I speak for
Wow.
the Seiken Densetsu.
Wow. Wow, Goggle Bob. Calling
I
our
was having a
Discord out.
monster moment
I
earlier
mean,
today.
I will state that that was not deliberately aimed at anyone, just because Shadow the Hedgehog is 100%.
Shadow the Hedgehog has fans all over the world.
Yeah,
Shadow
that
the
that
Hedgehog
is
has fans.
100. There are people who get excited when they're like, "Oh, Shadow the Hedgehog thing," even though Shadow the Hedgehog is like that game by itself is just not great.
The thing I'll say
It's
about
not good.
Shadow is that Shadow is like time displaced 10 years. Like people fucking baby bird brained themselves on Sonic the Hedgehog, and then 10 years later, like a bunch of kids baby bird brained themselves on Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
that
mean,
sounds
Shadow was built to be like Sonic was losing his edge. Here's Shadow, and
But the thing
I,
is, like, they really didn't want to bring Shadow back. Like, they really did.
oh yeah, no, I mean the ending of Sonic Adventure 2 was pretty definitive. He burned up in re-entry.
The initial like pitch for Sonic Heroes had no teams with Shadow on it. They were more willing to bring back E102 Gamma, a character who was even harder.
Oh yeah.
Even deader.
Even deader. I'm trying to think, but I got nothing.
But yeah, like this game sucks shit. In Japan, this game was even more of a direct betrayal because to this point, for like 3 mana games, we have been playing things that were officially in Japan spin-offs, like or like remakes or whatever. Like the last main mana game that we've looked at was weeks and weeks ago. It was the Super Nintendo game Trials of Mana,
Huh.
and
Which,
this late
fun
PS2
fact, we
game.
didn't get.
Yeah, so that's Seiken Densetsu 3. In Japan, this is Seiken Densetsu 4.
Damn.
And I cannot emphasize enough how much has killed the franchise. Like this and the game we played last week, or whatever. It was last week. No, it wasn't last week. The game we last played, the DS game, both of them start with the introduction of World of Mana, because it was going to be like, this is the big...
They want like that.
Like-
It was like Evil East Alliance. It was compilation of FF7. Square had this obsession with this idea of like making RPGs that had like infinite capacity for expansion and spin-offs. There's some that we didn't get any parts of, like Code Age Commanders, but
Compilation
Like-
of FF7 was so fucking weird to me.
I love the compilation of FF7 for obvious reasons because I baby bird brain imprinted upon it. But I am willing to admit that
We all
most
got
of it
our
is bad.
problems.
Most of it is bad except for like Crisis Core. Before Crisis might have been interesting. I don't know. I can't play it.
I was going to say,
The
no
most
one was
imp-
allowed to play it.
No one's allowed
The
to play
most
that one.
important part of it was, of course, FF7 skateboarding and G-bike special for your cell phone.
Obviously. You'd be a fool not to play both of those all the time, every day, forever.
And Dirge of
Um,
Cerberus has the single funniest part of it. But
Is that where Gact shows up at the end and is like, I'm a Final Fantasy character now?
no, because he's also in
it's just
several
me.
others.
Although he
Oh,
does
never
show up
mind.
at the
I
end.
did not realize that.
The funniest part is that right near the beginning, like the guy who controls the fucking Ketchi puppet. I'm blanking on his name for some reason right now.
I'm gonna call him Gary.
Whatever, it doesn't.
It was.
yeah,
I
so
think
Gary,
it was a color.
So Gary shows up
Fine.
and he gets fucking shot, and then it turns out that that was actually a robot of him that is being piloted by the Ketchi robot that is being piloted by real Gary.
I mean, Reeve. Reeve.
Yes, I know. I was keeping the joke going because like I remembered it right after Beat said Gary, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna keep going with that.
You really should have. I'm upset that I know his name is Reeve now. I personally thought it would have been like an absolutely hilarious twist if like the guy getting controlled by Keiichi was just the reveal was just, oh no, Keiichi was the real dude all along. I don't know what this guy's deal is.
He's always been a cat.
I think it's way funnier that like they went the double robot route.
Yeah, sure, 2 robots. Okay.
Yeah. That was extremely funny. That game sucks shit. But
The more the merrier.
I remember watching my brother play it and going, oh, it's like the one game that I really like, the third-person shooter on the PS2. Say it with me, Gungrave! And then I played it for 10 seconds, was like, this isn't Gungrave at all. And I put it down and never picked it back up.
the actual tragedy of Dirge of Cerberus is that it was put in production because Yoshinori Kitase, who is like the big grand boss of Final Fantasy at this stage, like he was like an exec at Square even by that point, and he was just like, I really like third-person shooters. I want us to make a third-person shooter. And then they like sort of like looked around for characters in the catalog that would fit that idea until they landed on Vincent from FF7.
See,
Who's got a
the
gun?
worst part to me, at least, is that honestly is a totally valid way to make a
Like
video
the
game.
biggest
as far as I
problem
can
was
tell.
just that, I mean, the biggest problem was just that they didn't have anyone internally who knew how to make them.
Yeah, exactly. See, like if they had just gotten, they just like put out like a hiring call and said, "Hey, you made first-person, third-person shooters, get in here." They could have fucking killed it.
Get in here, man. Bring it in.
Yeah, and by fucking killed it, I mean made a 6 out of 10 game, which oftentimes is better than a 9 out of 10 game.
I'm imagining like a
Definitely better than a
fucked up
3 out of
world.
10 game.
I'm imagining a fucked up world where they had worked together with like someone that made that would be extremely funny, like if Epic had made Dirge of Cerberus.
Oh fuck, that would be hilarious.
That would be epic.
If like Cliff Blazinski's in the fucking credits to it.
Mhm.
I could just see him like doing the press tour. I could see the entire fucking alternate universe spanning out ahead of me, where Gears of War is marketed from the director of Dirge of Cerberus.
My other favorite thing to
God,
think
it's too
about.
beautiful to be real.
My other favorite thing to think about is that they expanded the game a little bit and updated it a little bit for the English version. Like it's like they cut out the online multiplayer that it had in Japan that required the PS2 hard drive.
That nobody in America had.
Yeah, other than the
Obviously.
handful of PS2 FF11 players. But they updated the single player, they added some new single player content, and for just absolute deranged sickos in Japan, in 2008, you had no excuse to not know that Dirge of Cerberus sucked ass at that point. They released Dirge of Cerberus International, featuring the Japanese like text and dub, but also the English dub if you wanted that, and the English updated content for like true Dirge of Cerberus sickos.
True Dirge heads. Only repost if you're a real Dirger.
I'm gonna dirge.
Also, I love that in FF7 Rebirth they made like Vincent like a weird old man that doesn't know how to use his cell phone.
And also is
I am,
really good at cards.
My favorites, my favorite like moments, single moments, because there were a couple favorite moments in my Advent Children rewatch, is when like the girl just asks Vincent to call somebody, and Vincent does a Dracula cape flourish to display that he doesn't have a phone.
I don't even own a cell phone.
It's so in character.
He's like a million years old. What do you want from him?
He's like
He-
39.
He
Come
could
on, man.
literally be Sephiroth's dad. Like, that is a plot point.
If you spend
Yeah, but
most
I mean,
of the
Sephiroth's
years
like
in a
27.
coffin, they don't count.
Yeah, but if you're
Okay.
past the age of 25, you're an old man in the Final Fantasy universe. We know this, right?
Yep. He has a phone in like Rebirth or Remake or whatever, right?
He does, but he doesn't know how to use it.
Yeah, he needs help
That-
with it.
That's
Like
that's
Kenshi jumps onto his shoulder to help him use his phone.
To
well,
call
that's
his
an adorable
boss.
like twist, but like a guy as goth as him would have a Tumblr blog.
He mostly spends his time in the coffin.
What, just sitting perfectly still? Nah, man, he's a fucking doom scroller for sure.
He probably he probably has an online presence, but it's like a GeoCities page he set up in 1997.
He's still like religiously
Excuse you,
updates
that's
his
too
stuff.
mainstream. It was a tripod.
There
No,
you go.
much, yeah, okay, now we're there. Now we're there. We're getting there.
And all of these comments are going right over Crumbs' head.
Yeah,
I
he
think
can
he
pick it
gets
up
the
from
gist.
context clues.
The internet
I-
of 1998.
I was spaced
Say-
out.
Shit!
What happened?
1998!
Don't worry about it.
It's
Don't
okay.
worry about it.
We'll get you an Angel Fire site later.
When we get home.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers
If you're
that he
good.
hates. Who these fucking people let the Kennedys straight? Who got the bag gonna seal his fate? Okay,
Nothing
so
bad ever happens to the Kennedys.
every, I
I,
cannot think
what
of
a
a single
potty
good thing that has
platter.
happened to the
Got that
Kennedys in years.
All right, we got Luker.
I've seen parts of Clone High.
You should see all of it. It's good.
I've never watched it, and I turned out okay.
Debatable.
I mean, that's not a great barometer, but
Sample size.
oh man, Pete, I was actually just playing Dragon Age 4, and I was very amused that I ran into a character whose entire gimmick is like friendly scientist necromancer who just has like a whole bunch of skeletons just pickaxing away at things.
Oh, I disagree with skeleton slavery on principle, but that is pretty cool.
I was going to say this game isn't as good as Final Fantasy 16, which made a very bold stance of saying slavery is bad.
But also desperately wanted to absolve its protagonist of having any part in it, despite
That's
them being a noble.
that's a problem. Also,
No,
I
no,
thought
they
you were-
remember they were the good noble.
I love it. I love it. There is a point late in that game where you get a side quest where it's like, oh, you need to go and like look through your father's old shit, and it's like, oh, this one thing that would have freed the slaves that he was about to sign, but then he was killed.
God, that's some fucking. All right, so one of my favorite movies of the last few years is The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, right?
I
But my
love that
least-
movie.
But my least favorite part of it is where Bruce Wayne finds out that his dad might have been a prick, and then Alfred tells him, "Don't worry, your dad wasn't a prick, and everything's okay." Then he's like, "Oh, okay, thank goodness. Never mind. We're all good then."
Like
And
thing?
that pissed me off a little bit. No, I can't lie.
Yeah, like
like
the thing about FF16. I will keep this rant down to 3 minutes.
okay.
The thing about
Shall
FF16.
we synchronize the old chronometers?
I think we should put a shot clock on the screen so that way, you know, we have an exact count. So, fanboys start now.
Okay, so the thing about FF16 is that it wants you to care about Clive, but it doesn't want you to ever have to think about whether he's a huge piece of shit. And so anytime, like, it doesn't even want you to think, like, oh, that's not what I would have done. It wants him to be agreeable in every particular. So anytime that he does something that's, like, could be considered bad, or, like, even, like, he's not allowed to do anything that's emotionally unpleasant, he is collected and friendly basically the entire game, with the only exception being the time that he thinks he's accidentally murdered his brother because of Ifrit powers or whatever. But then it turns out that one, he didn't intend to do that, and two, it didn't even kill him, so he's absolved of that. And the other thing is this fucking thing where it's like, oh, well, do we have to examine the fact that he benefited from slavery? No, we don't, because his dad is the good guy, the good slaveholder that wanted to free the slaves, but just never got around to it in the 15 years that he was definitely the head of the household of the minor nobility of Valisthea that he's from. Rossfield or whatever. I don't care. It's a shitty world. But yeah, the game wants you to care about him, but is unwilling to let you consider him from any perspective other than that guy seemed pretty cool, and thus all caring about him is inherently shallow and pointless.
I was very succinct. I gotta say I'm impressed.
I will state that it right from the beginning, the fact that they introduce him, well, they introduce him as a mercenary, but then they go back and confirm that he's kind of the prince of the world, but his little brother got better powers than him, so he's kind of runner-up prince of the world.
My absolute favorite part of this is that they're there can't be two icons of fire, and then that idea is never addressed. There's no second icon of any other element. It's just
wait, they never give you an explanation for that, or
no,
justification or whatever.
No, there is just.
I thought
it's just no, Ultima is you're my perfect vessel. You're the special boy. I built the entire world to make sure you would happen, so that I could have your perfect body, Clive.
You're my special boy.
Yeah, and it's just okay, why'd you make two icons of fire? Why go through that whole rigmarole?
It makes you better.
You can hand wave that super easily if you realize there's a problem in the writing by just saying, oh, well, he was hedging his bets. He figured, if one of them doesn't work out, I got the other one. It's fine.
That's not how in the rest of the narrative.
I don't know how the fucking narrative works, man.
I know. I'm saying that.
Neither do they.
FF16 is one of those things that explodes my brain because, I remember immediately upon release, it's finally a Final Fantasy game with a story that makes sense, and it's no, this is a story that's been dumbed down, but makes less sense than usual.
I mean, usually there is an explanation for why you're the chosen one, other than the goddess really likes you. She really digged your vibes, man.
Digging your vibes from across the bar. But yeah, it's just so. God, that game sucks so bad.
And this very evening, I was talking to somebody who was thinking about playing because someone told them it was good.
I was actually trying to go at rewriting the multiple essays that I keep intending to finish on that.
I was wondering if you had published any of those.
No, I haven't had it in me. It's I've just been exhausted the entire year for reasons that are both global and personal. But at this point, I feel I've got enough distance to sit down and I've just thrown out my prior drafts. I'm starting again.
I just got blown up by an acorn.
But God, what a cowardly game. What a cowardly game.
I mean, yeah, that's what it comes back to for me, because like I said, right down to the fact that it's he's the prince, but not really the prince. It's a whole lot of we're making this choice for the character, and it's supposed to make him more endearing theoretically. But
it reads like they're terrified of anyone disliking him.
I mean, that's the thing, is that it continually comes off as well, why is he this half of within just the opening, it seems like there's 3 different concepts being thrown out, and none of them particularly stick. Whatever happened with his time where he was hanging out with mercenaries and named after dragons?
God, I love how it's scared that the mainstream audience that it wants won't accept high fantasy. So it's you need to code it. It's like wrapping pills in hot dog to get a dog to eat it. You need to code it in this faux darkness. So it's yes, his mercenary group, the bastards.
the bastards, and they all have like cool dragon names, and they all die within
He is
30
addressed
seconds
as,
of being introduced.
he is addressed as like Wyvern or something for like 3 solid minutes.
Yeah, and, like the
That's
leader is
awesome.
Tiamat, and it's like things that like you like fantasy, you recognize these words.
These are the safe fantasy. Also, you can tell it's good fantasy because there's fucking.
Yeah, God, I want to see Final Fantasy 16 if Game of Thrones was never popular.
Like, my favorite thing is that, like, the icon fights are supposed to be like this big, like dour war thing, and one, it doesn't work just because the world is so thinly sketched. Like, how it connects in any place that an icon fight actually happens is just a big dumb forest that has nothing in it. But the other thing is that they're also just really big, stupid Godzilla fights.
I was going to say,
And-
like, literally the first icon fight, like, the one that's part of the intro or whatever that makes him so sad. Like,
It's so
you're like,
bad, it's so mechanically terrible.
it's
I'm sorry, I
mechanically
need to
terrible,
interrupt.
but, like, you're plunging through this, like, gigantic, ruins, and I was like, well, in any other game, I'd get to explore these ruins.
And also, what does this have to like? I remember where I was and what's theoretically being destroyed, and it looks nothing like what is apparently being destroyed.
You pop into another universe, basically.
I remember, like,
With
I remember
infinite
getting to the
space.
Titan fight, and the Titan fight was incredible to me because people assured me that's the highlight of the game. That part's incredible, and it's all downhill from there. And that was a 6 out of 10 fight. Not the cool kind of 6 out of 10, but like the you put your back into this. You're hamstrung by how mechanically boring the thing is, and the fact that like the characters involved just aren't interesting.
I mean,
But like,
I heard this suggested at the time, but it would be hilarious to do a mod of Final Fantasy 16 wherein all of the giant... I'm sorry, what are they called? I want to say Eidolons, but is that what they're
Icons?
called? Icons. All of the icon fights are just replaced by the polygon boxer from Final Fantasy VII. Because that's basically what the gameplay is like
then the game would have a sense of humor about itself.
yeah, but that's all that those fights are, is just basically doing the polygon fighter, like rock paper scissors nonsense.
Like, yeah, except that they want it to, like, their big shortcut for like this is a big epic fight is every time you hit something it says like 5 million damage.
Yes. If you get excited by big numbers, I have got a game for you.
Like, that's the thing that ultimately one of the things that's like the most bizarre to look at is that like this game thinks you're really stupid. Like,
I mean, I will say I had the reverse of that feeling. I want to say it was the first time I played not the original Paper Mario, but Thousand Year Door, which, if you've never played it very specifically, like, when Mario starts out, he does 1 damage. And,
Yep.
like, you can graduate to doing 2 damage. And I really did have the thought in my head of, like, there is no difference between this and any other RPG where I'm doing, like, 10,000 damage, except, like, just in this case,
I think
it's a
there's
little bit more
degrees of
obvious.
granularity that come, like, once you get past like thousands, I feel like you immediately get to the point where it's like this is all nothing. I think there's a degree of granularity that can be nice when you at least get into the hundreds. But because like the thing I run into with Paper Mario is just that like at some point it's like it's difficult for a strategy to be somewhat more effective without being dominantly more effective.
Which makes sense, yes. Yeah, that was a big problem I had with the Mario and Luigi games. Wherein there were certain moves that just absolutely, you did this every time or you were wasting your time.
And like when you know how to break like Thousand Year Door, it's like, oh yeah, the Danger Mario strats like do absurd damage.
Oh, yeah.
But
If you want to live in Danger Mario mode.
I mean, like you'll do like 50 damage in 1 turn, which basically nothing survives. So, but yeah,
Alekius won't be happy that I brought a tree maiden to a place like
but yeah,
this.
like, man, I just, like, the thing that will forever stick with me is just that, like,
What do you mean by
that game does not think much of its players at all. Like, it's a checklist of what is assumed to be acceptable in mainstream fantasy.
Yeah, and as you said, it does a number of different things that are just kind of like, you could have done something cool here, but you kind of pulled back at the end.
Because you're scared. You're scared the audience won't follow you.
Yeah. Which, again, for a character whose name I'm having trouble remembering at the moment.
Clive Rossfield?
Sure.
I remember
Gary.
the thing that felt true to me from the start for good old Gary was he felt like he was designed by people that were terrified by the terrified of like internet types calling him a slur.
Yes, yeah, you mentioned this.
And I maintain this.
Square has been so hurt by the fact that people made fun of Cloud. Or Squall.
But like,
Okay, well,
he's
see, that always struck me as like one of the weirdest choices they could possibly make, because you're fucking Final Fantasy. You've already made that bed and lied in it for 20 years. Why change now?
Hey, look. What's this?
I mean, I will say there's a certain part of me. I feel like Lightning of the Lightning trilogy of the Lightning Saga of Final Fantasy 13. I feel
Jesus
like
Christ.
that design could literally only exist in the Final Fantasy universe. Like, I don't see anything else, from even just random animes to anything Western, of course, designing like pink, vaguely medium-length hair with a quasi-military uniform, but I think she's showing off her belly button, if memory serves. Like,
I don't think she is, but let me
I
check.
can't remember at all.
I thought in my mind she's got some kind of midriff thing going on.
It probably also depends upon which game you're looking at.
I am vaguely thinking of Final Fantasy 13.
She gets hornier as the game goes on, as the games go on.
What happened to me? My arm.
Okay, like, I'm looking at some art here. I don't think you can see her belly button,
You can't in the original.
I'm okay.
but like, I'm pretty sure I see a little bit of stomach flesh in this render. I'm pretty sure. So I don't fucking know. Who cares? I'm not-
Yeah, so the coat mostly covers it. You can see.
Yeah, see, I
little
remember the
bit.
coat being slightly more open. I just brought it up in front of me.
And it doesn't
Gotcha.
matter.
But, I mean, she's definitely wearing shorts.
Oh yes.
But
And she's
yeah,
got, like, a
Lightning
gun
is
blade.
Lightning is very much a much more like confident design. Clive
And
is
that's the
Clive
thing.
is
Is
like
definitely, like, if you showed me Lightning and I somehow had never played Final Fantasy 13, I'd say, what's this Final Fantasy bullshit happening here? like that would be my first thought. And yes, it's a Final Fantasy game. And it also, in my opinion, ties well with, she has a sister who looks different but is close enough to be like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, that's her. That would be what her sister looks like. What am I
Clive and Joshua's resemblance is that they are both very generic European-looking dudes.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I am the kind of person, I've seen this pointed out online, but there are definitely people, and who include myself, that look at the cast of Game of Thrones and genuinely have problems knowing that a different person is on screen. Like,
It's me.
wasn't this guy just like hanging out with the? It's like, oh no, that's somebody I've already encountered, or no, that's a different character. Like, I genuinely have problems with that, and I unfortunately sort of had that problem with Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy games. I didn't think we're supposed to do that.
I had no difficulty telling the FF15 boys apart.
Face
That's how it
blindness.
feels for me in
Them
all
boys.
types of television, like live action television.
Yeah, I just have
So
face blindness.
why are you taking pictures now?
That is not
wouldn't be.
pictures. That is my like targeting shooting system.
It seems very bad.
Guess what? It is.
Not
Hi,
surprised.
have you ever watched Bob play a game before?
No, I'm saying it seems bad in terms of how the game functions.
But also, yes.
I mean, if we
We
watch,
could be playing like a funny bad PS2 game like Firefighter FD18.
if
Yeah,
we
so,
watched like the intro to this, there's like 1,000 stupid little systems.
Why would I have watched that?
I know,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
like
personally.
they're like you can throw enemies, which I just did, and it's like oh boy, like this is all just like
We
it-
got the Havoc physics
Yeah,
engine.
this
we
was-
also didn't have any Japanese documentation for it.
I was going to say this is major lipstick on a pig type nonsense.
This game did not feel like there was any like unifying vision for what it should look or play like.
Wow. I didn't
Unrelated to anything, I have good news and bad news.
What's the good news?
The good news is I just poured all the bourbon I have into this cup. The bad, news is
you're
once
about to
this
drink it.
cup is empty,
Bad
I will
news
be
is
out of
you're-
bourbon.
This
I
is
feel like you probably won't
disappointing
need
for
more
all of
bourbon
us.
tonight.
Honestly, I kind of underestimated how much was left in that bottle when I decided I'll just finish it off. So yes, correct.
So that might be good news. You can worry about getting more bourbon before next week.
No, I'm not that worried.
I figure.
Next week's
One
an
does not need
RTS.
bourbon.
Oh,
Oh,
God, we
God.
cannot watch that. The
Yeah.
Why
entire
would you
time, dude.
do
We
that?
cannot.
Goggle Bob, come on.
I
man.
will say that next week I think is going to be the last bad mana game. That's
Like,
what I'm going
you need
to
to
say.
have like some kind of backup, dude. I cannot watch that for like an entire like 2 hours.
I mean, it's a
Yeah,
DS
that's-
game. Maybe I could like have a movie playing in like the negative space of the screen.
I mean,
It doesn't make any
anything.
sense.
Like some
Literally anything.
Random
Goggle Bob.
cartoons. Like a previous
Goggle Bob,
stream.
If you
Well, now I'm
try,
just thinking. Now I'm just thinking of the really good joke from that fucking like episode of fucking Chart Party where like John Boyce is like explaining how punting works, and it's like, if you already know what punting is because you watch football, I've provided some alternate programming, and it's just like a dude running around while on fire, and like fucking like two dudes doing a race pulling like a heavy weights, two dudes fighting over like a fucking like rake or something. It's very strange. It's great.
I think it
It's great
was. I think
content.
at least 3 of those were made for TV movies.
Oh, they
Um,
look like it.
that entire episode is so great because the very end he pulls the rug out from under you and goes, "Psych, idiots! They won every single one of those games."
Like most of like this was never a good indicator about whether they were bad at this.
Yeah, no, and then finally he says the Ravens, "Oh, they lost," and then they won the next 5 games and made it to the Super Bowl, which they won. Fucking
My
awesome.
favorite thing is that he spends a while talking about the pooch pun,
Oh yeah,
and then like at the end, his like dog is there while he's describing this, and he's like it's a good visual pun that like his dog is there while he's saying, "I guess we're gonna have to punt on this one."
yeah. Great.
The bond?
Also, you mentioned earlier that the gang that the Final Fantasy 16 boy, I don't remember his name. I don't care. I'm gonna call him a slur. Fucking nerd.
Fop.
Nerd.
Was called the Bastards, and that immediately dragged my mind to ska bands, the Voodoo Glow Skulls, and their song
Oh,
"Bastard,"
that's way
Music,
better.
which I immediately looked up, and in doing so, found out that they have a new song with "Bastard" in the title. So I'm gonna link
Oh,
that one
yeah.
as well. We get 2 Bastard songs tonight. I'll dump them both in kick-ass music.
We get
I'm
two
Yay.
going to
songs
dump one
tonight.
that lives in my head forever, but is unrelated other than being ska.
I love the Voodoo Glow Skulls. These guys kick ass.
Ooh.
I've seen them
That's very
live.
fun.
I saw
Oh,
them
sorry.
live without meaning to because they opened for Rancid, and that fucking ruled. Well, technically they're like
Generally,
the second
bands that
round.
open for Rancid are good.
Yeah.
I mean, when you listen to the band titles and they don't really sound like they go together, but I guess that is not indicative of the type of music they play.
I remember at the House of Blues show where I saw them and Rancid. I immediately went to their merch table after their set was done, and the guy there was like had like a bunch of their albums there, and I owned most of them already, so I just immediately zeroed in on the one I didn't own, and he said, "Oh, dude, that one's in Spanish only," and I said, "Fuck, that sounds awesome." I immediately bought that one.
Was that supposed to be some kind of deterrent?
That makes sense.
And I was
She just
like,
looked and
"Oh,
said,
yeah."
"Es bueno."
And he was like, "Do you speak Spanish?" And I was like, "No, but it's culture."
I mean, like, I've never minded a song being in a different language. Like, that's never really detracted for me listening to music.
It's a fucking great album. I think Ferme was the one. I'm drawing a blank on the name. I'll have to look it up. But speaking of which, I need to like redouble my efforts to learn Spanish. I've been dipping my toes in with a couple like YouTube like first Spanish lesson videos this week. I'm gonna try and finish what high school failed me on.
I was like, that makes sense because one of the album art for one of the songs you sent has Loteria cards. So I'm like, oh.
Oh yeah, they're all Mexican American. I believe some of them are just straight up Mexican. But
Ooh.
it's a they're like based out of Florida, but they are very much a Mexican band.
How goes the manning?
Oh, it's the best banning we've ever had.
We have concertedly not talked about this game.
I
We are
understand
dedicatedly
bigger
not
than the
talking
rest
about
of
it.
the character.
Let's get
This
moving.
is the first time I've looked at this stream in a while. The hands are not proportionate.
I just need to know.
That was a
and
thing that
this- I'm
happened.
not even looking at the stream. I have Discord open, but I just need to. I'm just going to ask a point blank question. Then you all can tell me if I'm right or not. Are we still in the fucking green dungeon?
Oh, yeah.
Then
Looks
I don't
pretty
need to look
green to
back.
me.
I don't need to look back. We've been there for like 400 million fucking years.
Hey there, Kelby.
Roger.
When Gogglebob started that dungeon, dinosaurs ruled the earth.
Is okay.
And honestly, it's been downhill ever since.
Yeah,
Well,
got rid of
for the most
dinosaurs.
part, the birth of Christ was pretty sick. I'll link to that.
They made a whole holiday about it.
What's
Well,
the,
yeah, because it
What's
ruled.
that thing again? The what is it?
Thanksgiving.
Get on the floor, everyone do the dinosaur or whatever.
Don't get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Oh, don't get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur.
Also, beat with
Thank God
with
for
you
was
like
not was.
with you trying to pick up Spanish. I encourage it. It's like for me, like it was sort of my first language, but I don't really talk it anymore. So I really need to also do that.
You
From
two
can
saying
understand-
you learn,
can
the two of you
practice
first.
Spanish together.
Exactly.
I can understand it just fine. I'm really good at that. I just can't really speak it that well. Takes me a minute.
I can
Was
help
a night
absolutely
like
nobody
this
here. I took 4
40
years.
million years ago, I lit a cigarette.
Cass,
Picked up
what
a
did you
monkey's
take?
coat to go.
German.
The sun was
Oh, German.
fire, the sky was blue as ice.
Somehow got turned
I
around
felt a
there.
little tired, so I watched Miami Vice. I walked the dinosaur. I walked the dinosaur.
There have not
Open
been any
door, get
dinosaurs in
on
this
the
game.
floor.
Actually,
Everybody
there
walk
hasn't
the
been a boss fight
dinosaur.
yet in this game.
Open the door, get on the floor.
Yeah, sorry.
Everybody walk the
French and
dinosaur.
Spanish were just
Open door,
enough.
get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open door,
Couldn't
get
do it.
on the- Everybody walk the dinosaur.
This is gonna be
And
stuck in
this-
this for a week now.
I'm decidedly in the garage again. And Edward has
Garage
followed me in.
My mighty breeze creates
Is
I'm mad
Edward
at
biting
him.
again?
I need you to relay a very important message to Edward for me.
Yeah.
Tell Edward that he's the kind of cat that would think he's buying weed and get a baggie of oregano and smoke it anyway.
Oh man,
Wow, that's hard.
majorly dissing a cat you have never met.
I feel like it's an accurate statement.
He deserves to get dissed today. You know what he
Damn.
did today?
Tell us what he did today.
He crapped in my room.
Oh jeez.
You know.
I didn't.
I must tragically now tell my worst cat story.
That is not very radical, Edward.
I see what you did
Jamming
there.
with
I
Edward?
hate you for it.
My personal worst cat story is the time that I woke up. I had slept without my shirt on, regrettably as it turned out, because I woke up
This is
because a
gonna end
cat had
poorly.
jumped on my back. The cat had jumped on my back. I'm like, oh, that's sweet of you. Immediately throws up.
Oh.
And you couldn't even
Regrettable
take
times.
your shirt off and just throw in the wash.
Nope, just had to immediately, I was gonna have to get in the shower anyway, but still, ugh, not fun.
There
I
was
mean, it's. I guess it saved you cleaning exactly one shirt. That's not a.
Wasn't worth it.
No, not even a little bit.
there was
I can't get over how boring the combat is in this. How much how bad the camera is.
the camera
I'm
is
so mad at this.
amazingly bad.
See,
I
I couldn't. I have no doubt that the camera sucks and the combat sucks and everything else, right? But from my perspective, the camera seemed baseline PS2 competent. Am I wrong in that?
It doesn't have a lock on, so you have to swivel around a lot.
it's just
to deal with
constantly
it.
swiveling around while you can't see anything.
Huh.
Like if there's a monster to your left, you're gonna throw up. Oh, and I do have to
Also,
tell
no.
my
Why do you-
cat story.
Why'd the gnome turn into a diamond?
That's what gnomes
That's just
do.
how Lana works.
Cat story, cat story.
When I was younger, I had 3 cats that were all siblings. 2 were male and 1 was female. The males occasionally had some sort of dominance, whatever going on. That would usually come out around eating time or whatever. So one time I was in my bed, getting ready to go to bed, as you do. I don't know, it was probably 9 or 10, and both of the male cats got on my bed and sort of had I wouldn't say they were fighting, but they kind of had a it was very clear that they were sort of having a turf war without saying anything. They were both just kind of looking at each other, and I'm vaguely flattered, haha, there's 3 other people in the house and the cats are fighting over me. And then one just looked straight at the other one's face and then just pissed all over my pillow. And then the second
Take
cat
that,
was
my pillow now, motherfucker.
and the second cat was well, you win, and left. And I'm God damn it. Well, now my pillow's been peed on.
I'm not sure you can call that a victory, Cal.
I was about to say,
Bob.
I mean, I think the cat won. It's just I didn't win.
Oh yeah, you didn't win. You absolutely did not win.
You lost hard.
You lost very
It's
hard.
Buster, why
His
did you
bed
do
now.
that?
Oh, okay. So here's here's the only thought rattling around in my brain right now as I watch you go through
I
this
don't have those.
miserably long dungeon.
That's her.
This week,
might be the
I
entire
started doing a thread on Blue Sky on one of my favorite TV shows of all time, 12 Ounce Mouse. See, fanboys in my corner on this one.
It is a
I'm
good
watching you play this, and I keep thinking, oh man, I could be watching episode 4 right now and writing gibberish about it. But then I wouldn't be able to talk to you guys. And then I look back at the screen and go, would that be so bad?
Imagine if we were just all watching 12 Ounce Mouse together.
I mean, shit, that'd be awesome. We have the entire series. It's just on their website.
But have you
show.
actually
When
been
did
in
12
the
Ounce
same-
Mouse come out?
2005, I want to say.
2005, I want to say.
Yeah, 2005.
Have you been in the same dungeon, or do just the dungeons all look alike?
Yes.
There
Uh,
was
yeah.
when,
He has
when we
been
first
in this
started.
dungeon since 2005. Yes.
When we first started, there was a another area.
There was a meteor.
Yeah. Also noting that, like, usually a game like this has like a dodge roll or something, but nope. Might die here.
Don't die.
I mean, that means I'll have to repeat parts of this level.
Ample vigor was
God
good.
damn it!
Low.
Not
I
the
got
game Gogglebot was playing.
Exploded
It
by a
sucked.
fucking acorn.
We all despise it.
Good.
Yeah,
dear.
now, gotta do that again. What the fuck? This is why I normally
I-
cheat.
Cass, you wanted me to mention this, like, before this, like, what we talked about before the stream.
Go ahead.
Okay, so so you know, we were making pleasantries. I told her how my day was, mixed day with like the interview and stuff, and then I mentioned, oh, Edward shit on my bed. She was like, the cat, right? And you know, I like, you know, I realized this to myself. I mean, like then too, but also like a couple of days ago. I don't know. Like I mentioned a lot. I have a cat. I have a baby brother. One is named Edward. The other is named Leo.
Wait a minute.
Just to distinguish.
If I asked you to name, like which was which, a lot, and you didn't know who they were, people would get that wrong on like the first try.
We'll meet up at the Guardian Beast Den. See you there, Keldy.
I
I
met you
legit
in a cave.
had-
You
I legit
flew.
like waited a beat, and then I was like the cat, right?
The cat responded. Cat's like, you guys talking shit about me?
Yeah, I heard you was talking shit.
Heard you was talking shit.
I mean, it's literal.
Actually, quite literal. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you have nowhere to escape.
Yeah.
Nowhere to
So-
hide. So
No.
I heard you was talking shit. Like, yes. Along every possible axis.
On the other hand, I also presumed it was the cat because it would be really challenging. Because doesn't the baby brother wear diapers?
I mean,
Yeah, but he
Presumably
knows how to
also-
take them off already.
Also, like, what is he? A newborn, toddler? Like, what's the level of mobility here?
He's like very mobile. He's basically running now.
Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, he's at that.
Is your baby
stage.
is your baby brother Sonic the Hedgehog?
that was my first thought too.
Oh,
gotta
all
go
baby
fast.
brothers are Sonic the Hedgehog. My mom always tells people that I learned to run before I learned to walk because my philosophy was, if I go fast enough, I won't fall over. Turns out I fell over a lot.
That is trademark
I'll
coddling.
explain some shit.
if you're not first, you're last.
So Beat is Sonic the Hedgehog.
He is an important role model. What was I thinking? It's gone. It's all fucking gone. Hi, AV. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Do you think that like you could use your like knowledge and wisdom to talk Gogglebob down from the edge of more mana?
More mana.
Because we've tried.
I don't
We've
think that
fucking
logic
tried.
can do that at this stage.
Yeah, but the wisdom, maybe the wisdom.
No brain. No brain that can conceive of inflicting more mana on itself will listen to wisdom.
Ah, damn, good point.
I definitely just like alt
He's not just beyond good and evil. He's beyond the how can I put this? You know how the whole thing in Hellraiser is you've put yourself through like all the sensations that the Earth has to offer, and the only thing left is to seek out the lament configuration and summon the Cenobites.
Yes,
That's where Gogglebob is right now.
that makes sense. Unfortunately,
I want
He's-
to
he-
live mannerlessly.
Yeah.
Get out.
It's like
You mean
the
victim from his own
Cenobites.
stream?
The Cenobites walk out, and it's like, it is not hands that summon us. It is Akitoshi Kawazu.
I love Akitoshi Kawazu.
And
Prepare
Kelly,
yourself for a 6-hour essay.
oh dear.
I've also told him to leave his own house, so his own stream wouldn't make that much of a difference.
This is true. Oh, you know what? Indignity of indignities. I had work done, and I had my driveway expanded, so like totally new sidewalk and everything. And now I've got a brand new driveway, and I was told I'm not allowed to park in my own damn driveway for 2 weeks. Like, I'm not supposed to put any heavy weight on the cement for like 2 weeks, so no parking in my own driveway. Which I don't even know what I'm going to do now.
So you're the reason it actually rained this week.
Yeah, pretty much. No, Sunday
I
was the
know.
one day that they weren't doing anything, so hooray. Oh my god, this camera.
There are monsters below us. I wonder what would happen if we dropped something on them from up here.
Okay, last time I got killed by an acorn. Let's try to avoid that this time. Yeah, so basically we're only an hour in, but I can just say what's wrong with this game. It's got a number of systems that you have pretty much no control over. So it's like you're encouraged to push things around and whatever, but like you can't really control where things go other than just kind of give them a shove. And sometimes these things explode, and that ends poorly for everybody.
They just explode for no reason at all.
Giant acorns are apparently the most explosive things that exist on this planet.
Well, they explode because you push them.
Well, okay, yes, that is true. but why they were so volatile in the first place is a question.
When I was only a baby.
Like, I just have this little shove ability, and like this whole area, like the idea seems to be that you can shove objects into the hole to beat the enemies that are down there, but like it just, you can see how much fun I'm having with that. Like, what even was that? Stupid things that go in holes. God, I'm glad we did
Not
4
gonna clip
weeks
that,
of the
not gonna clip
Masashi
that,
game and
not gonna
not
clip
this.
that.
Except the frog suit.
Game is somehow remarkably worse than Musashi.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing. I'm glad we played that for 4 weeks and not this, because, yep.
It's just like
Are we talking about
an
Musashi
absolute
1 or
nothing
Musashi?
game. Avoid. Yes.
Are
No,
we talking about Musashi
Musashi.
1 or 2?
Yeah,
That's why I
Musashi 2.
said yes.
No, Musashi 2 was just, it was boring, but it was like, okay, it is what it is. This, like, you can see they were going for something, but, like, it is not there on any level. And this is even, like, the opening,
This game
like,
feels
tutorial
like you're playing some
things,
sort of
and where
proof of
everything should
concept or
work.
something that never got.
Yeah, like,
It
this
feels like you're playing a proof of concept for a game that never actually got finished.
Oh, Musashi.
no,
No,
this nonsense.
Danamana.
Like
Oh.
this feels like the PlayStation 2 is coming out soon, and this is what you play at the demo kiosk to show you all the things you'll be able to do.
Look at
But-
like it has a physic.
Yeah.
You can look at all these, like it's not Z fighting constantly. Think
Look
of
at
what
look at this.
wonders
look-
the PS2 may give you.
Yeah. Look at
reminds me
this
of-
like fake dynamic lighting. Look at this fucking camera control.
I think so
Um,
much about how much better off we were with fake dynamic lighting than actual dynamic lighting in the 360
my
era.
God. No,
Look
no,
at all the green that's available.
There's so much green. Like look at this horrible pop in that is hidden away by making all these environments exactly 5 feet by 5 feet. Oh yeah, and also look at how we have artlessly aped the basic gameplay loop of Ocarina of Time.
That
minus
is.
the things that made that fun.
I was about to say no, like, because Ocarina of Time, like, you use the shit you find and solve puzzles. This has just been like
This lacks puzzle.
This has been
No,
some beat 'em
like-
up.
Oh yeah, no, I mean aped, man. Like, do you think fucking apes understand art?
Yes.
I do, but only because I've played a lot of Ape Escape.
only if they're bored.
Yeah.
You motherfucker! I want to throw you in a volcano. But yeah, man. No, sorry. I'm gonna think about something that actually makes me happy. Man, I miss Ape Escape. Those were fun.
Good news, gang. My wife still rules. Bad news,
Yay!
gang.
I can't believe that didn't change.
We're still playing mana. Oh, but I see we've made
Holy
it to level.
shit! That ladder animation looks like fucking
I love
garbage.
that it's one-handed.
Is-
Fuck.
What,
Just lie
what
there.
happened there? Did they loop it too soon or something? Is this like that?
It looks
like
very bad.
I
is this
don't
like
know.
that notorious
fucked,
Twilight
motherfucker.
Princess? Is this like just a really egregious version of that notorious Twilight Princess glitch?
Oh,
No,
this is what
he's
it's
holding
supposed
a
to look
weapon.
like. It's
No,
really bad.
It's really awful. Why wouldn't he holster his weapon to climb a ladder? But
He is literally tied to it, so there is an excuse.
At that point, you
he
should
was
do
holding
like
a stick
fucking-
earlier.
The stick
At
got
that point,
attached
you
to
should-
his arm.
At that point, you should do something that's like fun and like fitting, like how Musashi had it, so that he was like climbing by stabbing his sword
I was about to
into
say
the wall.
stabbing your sword up is like would totally make sense, but this is straight up Barrett climbing a ladder.
Whatever. I had a thought. It vanished into the mist. Gone.
I had a
Oh
thought.
no.
I've never had a thought.
I
elaborate.
had a thought.
Shiny
Started
objects.
the whole world shitting.
Jesus Christ!
I'd
Disgusting.
like to buy the world a diaper.
Theme of the evening.
Oh,
Oh shit, there's party banter.
with who?
I don't know. Somebody was
Occasionally, there's
talking.
like
The
occasionally
fairy
there's, like,
talks
a
to
girl
me.
on screen. She'll occasionally run past you and like display terrible pathfinding.
No, now they have co-opted at least the one part of Ocarina of Time that everybody loved, and you have a personal fairy that tells you
Hey.
things.
Okay, I have to ask. You've hit this mushroom man like 14 times. At no point has he posed even the slightest threat to you.
At that point, you're just bullying.
Yet
Yeah.
for some reason, he had not died yet. Is that just
This
how many
is-
hits they take?
Evidently,
God. Like, did
here's
they
the
not
ladder
play test
animation
this
from
at
the
all?
side.
What a joyless exercise. I'm sure they tested it. I'm sure that for the last like at least 6 months of this game's development, there were people sitting at their desks knowing that they had to get the game done, but already completely aware that it was not going to be even slightly fun to play.
I need
Yeah.
you to know that these rotating like cups or whatever else I'm riding, discs, like they have their own kind of weird physics, and like
Beautiful.
and the way the
People like
camera
to-
works is not conducive to anything that happens with them.
Oh god,
Holy
this is
shit.
slightly nauseating.
But
They lack the fun and verve of, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, Mario Sunshine's like mirror platform for you at least to get to catapult those horrible duck things into hell.
Ugh.
I was gonna say, like, it's kind of impressive that they have their own physics, but then I remembered Ocarina of Time did that for the icebergs. When you like revisits where Jabba Jabba used to be to go to the ice cave.
Oh yeah.
That was
Yeah.
in
That was good stuff.
1996.
So,
So, 98, whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking
same hardware doesn't matter.
the past is another country.
Same shit, 1998.
Same fucking shit, 1998. I love that song. I don't care. Who knows?
I know.
Good.
And Faye, you did too.
Because I was lying. I actually did care if you knew.
Yay, we
That's
found
just
our
part of
girl.
being best friends. You
I
care
respect
about what
your
other people know.
opinion,
I don't respect other party member. Fuck. I almost called her the other protagonist, but like she's been on screen for a total of like 40 frames at this point.
I mean,
So-
Like all Mana games have like a standard party composition of like boy, girl, and other.
yeah, other is like magic in some fashion. Like other is clearly
Yeah.
the fairy this time.
Yeah.
3 genders.
Wait,
Basically,
Three
yeah.
genders: boy, girl, and creature.
is girl actually helping you fight?
No, not
She
at all.
is just standing
She's
there.
literally just standing there while this ogre
He's just
beats
watching
the
you
shit
get your
out
ass
of me.
beat.
I do like that. Like
There's your
that.
whole family.
I would call that like a ludonarrative plus. That the game is just like, you know, indicating exactly how much she cares about you by having her just stand there and go, "Oh no, don't get fucked up by the Yeti too bad."
Boy, that guy looks tough.
His name is Dubam. I think they hunt him on mountain monsters.
Nice.
God, imagining like the fucking like 60-year-old prospectors for mountain monsters like hunting down an anime yeti is just like the
Oh,
most
God.
perfect thing.
I mean, they
That'd be
hunted
so
down an
good.
actual alien.
I can't
so-
imagine the 60-year-old mountain monster dudes hunting it down, but I can imagine Sean Baby talking about it for 2 hours.
Yeah.
With like unvarnished glee in his voice.
Oh no,
absolutely.
he would be. It would be the opposite of when they made him talk about America's Next Top Model.
Yeah.
Bob lead him.
Hot lead 'em!
Lead 'em.
It's top model backwards. We have to explain that every time.
The amount of raw disgust in his voice in that episode is kind of incredible.
I keep saying I have never heard Sean Baby sound sad before like that. But he sounded so fucking sad.
God, I was listening to the episode where they're talking about Vincent Gallo's website, where you
Oh,
can
God.
purchase variously his childhood knickknacks, bed sheets, and also his seed for some reason.
Yep.
Okay, fanboy,
But-
you fucked up by not
Sorry.
calling it his nut, but I'm gonna forgive you.
And in
The thing
order,
gets me
in
here.
order to
If
purchase
you-
this nut, you have to go through an interview process.
See, Gaga Bob
Yes.
nailed it.
Like you have to go through an interview process that is also extremely racist
I
and
was like
anti-Semitic.
super racist.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. No,
What
this is why I call it. This is why I call that Buffalo '88.
God, that's cursed.
That is so cursed. I love it.
It took me a while when you first said it to be like, what, why 80? Oh.
Yeah.
I figured that right away because I'm on the ball.
He's the idea.
I'm,
Yeah.
there's a
what's
part
up.
of me that's glad I didn't immediately think of anything with the number. But yeah, like it's just like, and every time, like apparently, like he's been asked about it in interviews, and he's like, no, that's all a joke, and it's like, well, then why do you keep changing the prices and marking certain things as being sold out?
Now, speaking of people who are going to open the Le Marchand box, like Vincent Gallo, absolutely.
Absolutely, 100%. Also,
If
I'm
you heard it-
90% certain that Vincent Gallo, given the opportunity, would shoot his own balls off for Facebook likes.
If you heard a loud sound, like
We
a
didn't.
like a crash or something. Oh, Edward knocked over a mop and got scared.
Oh, mop.
That is what cats do in my
That
experience.
is extremely cat-like. So your
It's
cat.
knocking something over and then being like, wait, what the fuck?
So good news, Chromes. Your cat is working properly. No
Cat
defects
confirmed.
detected.
Cat-like reflexes are a misnomer.
Working as designed, will not fix.
Look, everybody, it's that boss from Trials of Mana, but looks worse.
Trials of
I just have
dog
to
shit.
ask this, Gaga Bob. Is it flexing its teeth?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
so.
That's gross. I don't like
Yeah.
that.
You ever think about anything else we could be doing with our fleeting lives?
I could be watching 12 Ounce Mouse. I literally
12
just
ounce mouse,
discussed this.
12 ounce mouse.
That car rolling all night long.
I'll blow
You
you
don't
away like I
understand.
was
You don't give a damn.
12-ounce mouse staring down the the craziest, most horrifying thing you've ever seen, and then just talking in the most even and sly voice you've ever seen.
A 12 Ounce Mouse would look at this shit and go,
Seen a voice?
that's
Yep.
I love
It's like,
I love
crab monster or something. I'm just drunk.
I love
It's
how
cool.
much
It's cool. I'm drunk.
I love how
That's cool
much the
media.
12 ounce mouse became just sort of like existential horror about how it's like it doesn't even matter if anything goes horribly wrong because nothing can change.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
A little too existential.
There was this like
I've
interview
never
I read.
never seen enough of 12-ounce mouse to really understand the plot.
I am
Yeah,
I am
I've
currently
made a-
doing a dedicated rewatch / Blue Sky thread, and the okay, so the first very obvious thing is that it did not have a plot until episode 3 when they said, wait a second, we can do something weird with this.
We can do something that sets this apart from all the other Adult Swim shows going on right now.
Yeah, because like for the first 2 episodes, it's just a variation of Aqua Teen, basically.
Diet Aqua Teen.
Diet
Yeah.
Aqua Teen. Which, you know,
I mean, we already
given,
had
like,
Squid
Not a bad
Bellies for
thing.
that.
yeah, given the like
which went for 15 seasons.
honestly, I fucking love Squidbillies. I'm not even gonna
Oh, I'm not
even
saying
gonna
it's
fucking
bad.
defend
I'm just
myself.
saying it's wild to think about that because like I never would have guessed that as a show that would go on for 15 seasons.
My favorite, like, stupid Squidbillies thing is absolutely the fact that when Unknown Hedison, I don't remember the actor's actual name, I just know his stage name, went off on some racist, sexist bullshit and immediately got fired. Instead of, like, you know, finding a sound-alike or something, they hired Tracy Morgan, who was much more expensive. And then Tracy Morgan did not even bother to try and sound like Unknown Hedison. He just like did his normal voice, and it was.
I mean,
great.
you weren't hiring Tracy Morgan to sound like that guy, so.
You weren't hiring Tracy Morgan to not sound like Tracy Morgan. So the final season of Squidbillies is just Tracy Morgan just bullshitting all over it. It's wonderful. But no,
Issue.
12 Ounce Mouse, like the entire like first 2 episodes are basically just to establish, like, retroactively, because as stated, they had no idea what they were doing through those, was just to sort of establish the tone. And then after that is when like it just starts getting
It's
weird.
to lull you into a false sense of security.
Yeah, like you start thinking, well, I guess I don't really have to like care about anything anybody says. And then in episode 3, they start talking about the conspiracy and the clock and the time gas and all that shit. And you're like, oh no, they're going somewhere with this.
Oh man.
I love how much attention they draw to the fact that the time on the clock can never change.
Yeah, and that's why it's important when in the final episode it changes to 223.
Oh man.
God.
I'm looking back at like the impression that I dropped on the board back when Beat first pushed me through it in 2018. Good lord.
That was a while ago.
Been a minute.
A little bit. Let's
I really liked what you had to
see.
say about it then. Like, if it was about the nihilism of a universe that's supposed to reset in a sitcom fashion, but never really does.
Yeah,
Something like
the
that?
way that I'm pulling it out. A nihilistic unchangeableness, I guess. There's so much happening, but it's ultimately of little consequence to even most of the show's characters. Until suddenly it is, but even then rarely for long. What themes I could grasp were also really fascinated with the unchangeability of the status quo of an Adult Swim production. So many of their comedies at this time would have characters murdered on an episode-to-episode basis. No one involved gives a shit, and it never matters, it'll be back. Characters in these shows were somehow more bound by their status quo than something that's dialed back to deliberately reach its status quo again. You could blow up the entire planet and kill all of them, and they'd be right back. 12 Ounce Mouse is that world not quite resetting like it's supposed to. The show's obsession with the sliding, unchanging clock is a pretty direct call to the idea that the world isn't really supposed to change. The consequenceless city made of cardboard. It keeps referencing back, though, to the idea that it was something before it was what it was, which is antithetical to the status quo in an entirely different way. On a more meta level, this is a very impressive achievement in the genre of fucking with whatever asshole is watching TV that late. An Aqua Teen episode can only fuck with you so much. It's bound by its 11-minute structure. Adding continuity and serialization can make this all the more perturbing. Being able to pick out a sense that there is a connecting thread that you can't see is much more unsettling than thinking there's no thread at all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, what is the word here? I mean, it is that sense of the disconnect between cause and effect. So I'm gonna get way out over my skis real briefly, but there's this concept, psychoanalysis, where when we are born, right, we are a unified being, which means that we cannot distinguish between that which we are and that which we are not. Okay, the cliche is mommy and me. That a baby can't tell that you're not part of them, but a baby can also not tell that the broader universe is not a part of it. It has no sense of cause and effect beyond it wills or it does things and things happen. And the psychoanalysts argue that the moment when the child realizes that there is a universe outside of itself that is the moment you become on some level you become aware of symbolism that you can, what's the word here, because you are separate from these things, you can also not think of these things, right? You cannot fully grasp these things, they are outside of you, but you can grasp the idea of that thing. You can create a picture of that thing mentally, and this is what language arises from. So the one of the ways that people go insane in this model is to cut away the relationship between the signifier, the idea that we have of a thing, and the signified, which again they argue cannot actually be the thing itself, but can be a but can be a bigger signifier for that thing. If you sever that relationship between your idea of a thing and let's just be crude here and call it the thing. This is one way that people go insane, because that now they are adrift in a world where these relationships have no meaning, where cause and effect begin to break down. Where why not say that the reason you have a headache is because your neighbors have secretly built a zapping machine that is beaming pain waves into your brain while you sleep. Now again, this is all completely crude and basically uninformed, but the most unsettling art I have found, at least when it does not just resort to just raw grotesquerie. I mentioned Hellraiser earlier, right? Like there are a bunch of scenes where you just watch a guy get his shit completely pulled apart, right? Okay, that's one form of horror, but another form of unsettling is when you create something or present something in such a way that in the viewer's mind it begins to disrupt that relationship between your idea of what you're watching and what you're actually watching. And so it does sound like whoever made 12-Ounce Mouse here had a very good idea of what the viewer's expectations of what they're about to see are, and not just subverting those expectations, but like actively perverting those expectations. So sounds good.
I just linked a interview with the creator of the show, and he says a lot of interesting stuff about where it went and how it evolved. But the line that has stuck with me for like 10 years is that it doesn't make sense to us but we don't live in a cardboard town. It makes sense to them. He had like essentially like this disconnected idea that like the worlds of that show, we as the observer are not supposed to entirely get it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter because it's real to the characters in it. Interesting way of writing, I think.
Yeah. Presenting, one of the things that people develop in that model is a sense of rules, right? Mm-hmm. That the word for a thing will always refer back to that thing. Duck, right? That we live in a world where if you say the word duck, it will be understood to signify, a feathery thing that quacks.
Yes.
But if you can somehow create a sense in the viewer that duck no longer signifies that thing, I mean that can be that is unmooring. The rules are breaking down.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
I love it. I genuinely love it. I will be right back.
Yeah.
So, how's the green?
I mean, we got out of that dungeon. We completed it.
It's still very green.
No, you are talking to me. I am much taller and more attractive than you. I am therefore evil.
I'm learning a lot.
I don't know. I'm not gonna look at the actual words on the screen. And I will believe that AV's narration is what they're actually saying.
You fool! You're inviting fascism upon us all. No, it's not fascism. Our enemy is both weak and unstoppable.
That's why you gotta do this to me, AV.
Babies.
That's cruel.
I just love how they keep calling the one character tree baited. I don't think anybody wants to ever be identified as the tree maiden.
Tree maiden. I think you said tree baiting. And I was like,
I'm tree baiting.
No, Ferngirlie say no pull of the penis.
Oh, jeez.
Just had to go there,
I went with it, but I'm glad somebody went that way with it. Oh, God.
Sorry, I'm just like, everything about that conversation just ended me in the cursed mind space of like the sadness of someone's like first sexual feelings being while watching Ferngully.
Oh, God.
I mean, it happened with Rescue Rangers. Why not
Specifically,
Ferngully?
Robin Williams as the bat.
That was not where I was thinking that was going, but I'm glad it went that way.
I was thinking of like, what's a more concerning Robin Williams role to have your sexual awakening to, and decided that honestly, no, it's still more upsetting than if it was to 1 hour photo.
That was what I was about to say.
I was thinking Patch Adams would mess you up.
Seriously
Patch Adams
though,
implies you're already fucked up.
seriously though, there are at least 17 Tumblr power users who are watching 1 hour photo and thinking, man, Robin Williams can get it here. Damn, he's real good at photo developing, and he likes Evangelion.
Yeah. Why is that what everyone remembers
I've never
from
seen that
movie?
movie. I think that,
Well,
like,
because Robin Williams specifically points out. Sorry to interrupt you, Pete. I'm just going to finish this.
No,
thought.
please
Shut
do,
up.
please do, because I got nothing.
Is specifically, not only is he aware of Evangelion, he has seen Evangelion Death and Rebirth and the end of Evangelion, to the point that he can point out to the child that the mass production Evas are the bad guys.
It's like it's such a weird thing to like take time out of your like weird horror film to show.
So, like, I've never seen 1 hour photo. Is he like a serial killer or something, or what's the deal?
No, he's just a really autistic guy.
He's just a weird stalker.
I feel like shouldn't carry a horror movie all by itself, but I guess it could. I absolutely guess it could.
He's sufficiently off-putting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not even a horror movie. It's a tragedy, and the tragedy is that you have a man who, like roast beef, cannot survive in this world, and yet he is, and so he uses photo developing as a proxy for human connection.
Well, that's got to be rough in the year of our Lord 2024 when nobody uses film anymore.
Yes, exactly. That's
Could
actually
only
a pretty,
have been in a time and place.
that's actually a pretty serious plot. Subplot is that photo developing is dying.
So were you
The
referencing
concept of a
the-
1 hour
Earlier-
photo is totally dead.
Earlier, Goggle Bob, you mentioned havoc physics, and I didn't quite understand what you meant by that until I saw all of these physics objects just sliding and schmoozing across the.
I love this
landscape.
mushroom cap that is like going for a walk because it got hit at some point in the battle. Like it's just like, oop, wait, stop. I gotta move it again. Gotta keep that. Gotta let it keep going. Here it
There's like an
comes.
ancient,
There it
just
goes.
absolutely ancient clip
Bye,
that
buddy.
Smiler.
Wait, no, it's going
made while
backwards
he was
again.
playing
Okay.
Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance, where he chopped up like a desk in some room and then turned around to see that everything in the room was gravitating towards it because he chopped it to so many pieces the physics engine was freaking the fuck out. And just
As you do.
everything in the room was just going that way now.
Also, I'd like to point out that despite how long that frickin' dungeon took the last time, I got an A on that level for time. So, like, I actually moved quickly, apparently. God help us all.
There is a line from Tim Roberts, actionbutton.net, just about Final Fantasy 13, where he talks about the horror of one of like the incredibly long fights. And like he says, a fight will take you 20 minutes and you'll be thinking, okay, but at least it'll give me like an F rank. At least it'll tell me I suck at this. So I'll know that there's a better way to do it. And then it gives you an S rank and you're like, oh God, I was doing it perfectly. Oh God.
Yeah, that's bleak.
Yeah, it's grim.
AV, when you were referring to roast beef, that was the Akewood character, right?
Yes.
Because originally I thought
What other roast
like,
beef would there be?
I was like, is there like some philosophical question about how like roast beef cannot exist outside of a sandwich or otherwise belly product?
You know, if there isn't one, I think we should
would.
get one going. That roast beef
I feel
should
like
not
we could,
exist.
I feel like this could be the actual purpose of this stream.
The roast
Also,
beef
Gogglebot,
paradox.
like I know we were joking around earlier, like an hour fucking ago now. But like, if you don't put a shot clock on screen when Fanboy starts talking about like Final Fantasy 16,
I assure
you
you, it
failed
is
as an
in the
editor.
plan, and people will be watching this afterwards and be like, "Well, he already did that. Why is B complaining about it?"
It's very important that those people be confused for a moment because I hate those people. Fuck those people.
It was significantly less than 3 minutes.
Yeah, no, Fanboy definitely came in under, but
He
I-
did, but then he talked about Final Fantasy 16 for approximately 8 million hours.
but he
afterwards.
stated his central thesis, which I felt was
Yeah, like I only
Appropriately 3
continued to
minutes.
talk about it by virtue of the fact that Bob had continuing thoughts, so we were having a dialogue.
yes,
Ah,
that
that's
that
fair.
was not just simply Fanboy talking. Like,
No, I know. I blame you completely, Bob. Fuck you.
look, what you need to understand is that roast beef should not exist in the colony of man. None of these
Right,
words are
just-
in the Bible.
We're sitting there. It's like, past roast beef cannot exist. Present roast beef
Well,
cannot
those words are
exist.
in the
Future
Bible.
roast beef cannot exist. Which sandwich does the learned deli man seek to create?
Well,
Just
the
standing there
truly
like,
learned
I
deli
don't
man.
know. And then the Cenobites like put you in a giant meat slicer.
I feel like the truly learned sandwich man would say, aha, but that is why God gave us the Italian. Or Vidagwood.
Delicious.
The Impossible Burger is appropriately named.
All I can think of now is Conor O'Malley saying the that he's talking to rebooting Mickey Mouse to suffer from porn addiction and impossible burger syndrome. That is one of my favorite stupid videos ever. I'm gonna link that one too.
Impossible Burger Syndrome.
Oh god, I still haven't watched Rap World all the way through. Put that on the list.
Oh
But it's
shit, that
also an
reminds
hour
me.
long.
I found out that one of the convenience stores out here carries a broad selection of wrap snacks.
Nice.
Beautiful.
A
now
broad
I'm-
selection.
Now I am faced with the impossible task of buying and eating wrap snacks.
Rap snacks.
I can assure you that I know they do carry wrap snacks at south of the border, South Carolina, where I stop while zooming down I-95, and it is hard to choose your favorites.
Every time you guys say rap snacks, I start getting rap god stuck in my head.
I'm beginning to feel like a rap god.
To feel like a rap god.
Pavlovian response.
Oh man.
Like Venom?
Oh, how was Venom 3?
I enjoyed it.
Good.
It was exactly the movie I wanted to see, which is not necessarily a good movie. It was a Venom movie.
These have never been good, and they've
It was
always been
Venom.
good.
The Venom movies have never been good, but they have all been great. They are. I remember like later that night, I actually went with my mom and dad and my brother to Outback Steakhouse. Florida man things. Don't
For
worry
Venom.
about it. And they were like, "What'd you do today?" I'm like, "Oh, I saw the new Venom movie." And they're like, "What's Venom?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's about that's about like Tom Hardy who is married to an alien that lives in his brain."
And once
They are married now.
They are married now. And
The
does
literal,
alien
the
still want
literal
to eat him?
tagline of the latest Venom was "Till death do us part."
Oh, beautiful.
No, but it had a bunch of like just the moments in Venom movies that are just transcendently weird that I love. I would say definitely the like high point of the entire thing was when Tom Hardy and his idiot brain monster are hitchhiking to him from like Mexico to Las Vegas, Nevada, with this like just weird hippie family. And the dad just like starts playing a little ukulele, Space Oddity, and like his entire family is singing along, and Tom Hardy is dedicatedly not singing along, and Venom is screaming along, and it's wonderful. Like,
Oh my god.
no notes, 5 stars, perfect cinema.
And the end of the movie has a Venom cockroach.
Yeah,
Incredible.
that's I figure that's how they're gonna bring him back, because he kinda, spoiler alert, died at the end, but you know, they can
You
bring
can't
him
kill.
back.
You can't kill Venom.
You
Well, I
can't
mean,
kill
the
Venom.
point of
It's
a Venom cockroach is to say that, like the cockroach, there will always be Venom.
Yeah, exactly.
The Venom
Yeah.
Roach.
Venom roast.
Venom.
Also, you can't kill Venom because he's a licensed character and must exist forever.
Yeah.
You'll
Isn't
never
there a
know what
Captain
hit
America
him.
movie coming out?
There is, and I saw the trailer for it, and it was
That
like,
seems
yeah, that's
grim.
probably fine. I don't know. It's like if I had to like give an opinion on it, Anthony Mackie's a perfectly acceptable actor, and the movie he's making is probably exactly 8 out of 10, which is all Marvel has ever aimed for. So, you know, it'll be fine. Whatever. Who cares? I'm not going to watch it in theaters unless my wife wants to go to the movies that weekend, at which point it'll probably be better than anything else that's in the theaters that week, but who gives a shit? It's not worth it.
I love that there is
The world's
there-
most racist people will probably be very mad at it.
Well, good. Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
So,
there's
given-
officially the character is officially known as Venom of Sony's Spider-Man universe.
I missed when that had like a different name that like people were complaining because it sounded horrible, and I'm trying to remember what it was called.
Spum.
Yeah, I think that might have been it.
The Sony
Uh,
Cinematic Universe is just skuh.
Let me look this up. I'm checking this out.
Supposedly, it's like in the same universe as the Morbius movie that everybody
It
like
is.
That's
Morbus.
hilarious.
I like. Did you say
And I-
Morbus?
Morbus, and
Show-
also like it's
show
going
us
to
on
be
the
in the
body.
same universe as Craven, which I don't know. I could absolutely watch a movie about a dude like just doing insane murders with knives for 2 hours. That
Yeah,
sounds like
yeah.
a good time to me.
But is it the same universe as Madam Web?
Probably. but
That
who
has
gives a
actually
shit?
been banished into another universe.
Oh.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, so it
The
was
Webiverse.
it was first referred to as Sony's Marvel Universe, which I'm guessing Marvel got pissed at. Then it became Sony's Universe of Marvel Characters.
Okay.
The next year it was Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel Characters. Spunk.
MC.
Bump.
That's gross. I don't like
And
that.
Sony later confirmed that was the official name for its shared universe.
Oh god.
Oh God.
Why would you do
Reason-
that?
Let's see.
Prepare for a
the
dark
title was-
universe.
The name was widely criticized, with commentators mocking its length compared to shorter franchise names like the MCU, as well as the acronym SPUNK. Uh,
Bunk?
I'm
In-
feeling,
Because it made
I'm
Max
feeling like you could call it
not that it's a good
the non-Marvel universe T something.
You
To
should just call it the Venom
nuts.
universe now. Because seriously, the only reason people watch this shit is for Venom.
Yeah, just call it the Venomverse. I mean,
The
'cause-
Venom-
the problem
Venomverse.
is that they consider Spider-Verse to be part of it.
I mean,
Oh, I
I
see.
mean, like,
Spider-Verse,
Which raises the questions of why you're not just calling it the Spider-Verse.
Just call it the
serious.
Spider
Just call it the
Verse.
Spider-Verse. It's right there.
Yeah, but
I
then,
did
then
like,
someone.
uh,
Someone probably feels really like a way about naming the whole series after a character starring a black character. You know, starring a black.
Well,
probably.
Columbia Pictures president Sanford Panich stated that Sony did not want to refer to their shared universe as the Spider-Verse, since it encompassed many characters separate from Spider-Man.
Like Madam
Name-
Web.
Name 3, because obviously you could say Venom.
Ooh,
You
ooh,
crave
Morbius.
Morbius. You crave the Hypno Hustler.
crave-
Hustler.
Oh my God! So they were going to produce a film starring Silver Sable.
They wanted to do
character
that.
known only by the deepest, darkest Spider-Man.
Weirdest perverts.
No.
Yeah, only the weirdest perverts. Because Silver Sable is a is a supervillain who hires other supervillains as mercenaries to do like whatever. It is a
To do
really
whatever.
weird.
Villain
It's a
stuff.
really weird reverse Findom thing going on with Silver Sable, like where the key points of a Silver Sable story is you have some like big, rough and tough, manly man, bad guy, but he's like, I can't do it. I can't do this anymore. This mission's too dangerous. And Silver Sable will breast boobily by him and be like, I've paid you. You're going to do the job. And then he goes back out there and gets his ass kicked even more. The only way I can describe it is reverse Findom.
I will state that Silver Sable's other thing is they continually remind you that she's a villain, but she's doing this because she comes from like poor country like Europe, and so as a result, like she's doing this all to send it back to like whatever fake country she's from. That is like she's doing it for the children in the end, or whatever the hell. That seems
Wait,
to always
wait.
come up with Silver Sable.
Okay, I need to. Okay, all I know about Silver Sable, I learned in the last 2 minutes on this call.
She also has silver
Gosh.
hair. That's the name.
Sable means black.
That is-
Whatever. The point is, if her whole thing is she just throws money at Craven or Morbus or Venom or who the fuck ever until they fight Spider-Man. How does she have money to send back to her country? Because that's a negative cash flow. Spider-Man tends to win.
Yeah, but
Don't
the
worry about it.
theoretical is Spider-Man is going to lose this time, and
Well, okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Beat. And
usually there's
there's
crime.
really no two ways about this. If you read between the lines of Silver Sable's character history,
Okay.
she made her fortune hunting Nazis and being
that's
paid
cool.
by rich Jewish banking families to do it.
Slightly
That
less
sucks.
cool.
That's that is like that is basically the subtext of the character.
It's very strange how they managed to fit, hell yeah, let's kill some fucking Nazis, to, oh shit, the Nazis
But also
were right,
anti-Semitism.
in the same sentence.
Well, you see,
I want to bring
because-
up some of the ones that they've sort of hinted at, like they've hired people to write treatments for, because some of these are just genuinely, who would ever consider greenlighting this? Like,
lay him out.
would
Lay 'em out. I want to hear
any human being ever watch a Night Watch film?
it.
Would any human being ever watch a Jackpot film?
Oh wait,
I don't know
Jackpot's
what that
basically
is.
Mary Jane. Like depending
Are
on
you
what's
are
going
you
on.
all about that El Muerte lifestyle?
I mean,
I'm all about
like,
Morbin.
Are you living that hypno hustler life?
all right, like
First movie
if you
to
just
make
told,
$1 more billion.
hey,
Yo.
we're making a movie about a luchador who robs banks, I'd be like, shit, yeah.
So the
Yeah.
rules of this are they have to be Spider-Man characters that have not been that were not used in the MCU, right?
Something like
They're
that.
allowed to have been used in the MCU. They're just not allowed to be in the MCU.
So
Yeah.
like they could have like Stiltman, or
Yeah, they could do Stiltman.
or Big Wheel.
I'm pulling for the big wheel. I'm pulling for the
Big
big wheel.
Wheel.
Fucking
Wait, can
Big
they have
Wheel.
Happy Murray?
Can they have who?
Can they? I'm trying to see here. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember that. Okay, I'm misremembering this character. Damn it. No, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember all the shittiest like Spider-Man Spider-Man adjacent villains throughout history. You've got Stiltman. You've got the Wizard. You've got
God.
I mean, technically, if you want to go slightly Daredevil, you've got the Owl.
yeah. Got the Owl. Nuke. You can have Nuke. But wait, no, didn't they use Nuke in Defenders?
I don't know.
My
maybe.
God,
I
they
don't wanna
used
remember.
Nuke. Why would they use Nuke?
Because they have to, like, definitionally they have to use like Z grade, fucking Z grade, Spider-Man villains.
Like characters that there could be no possible dispute over the ownership of.
Did
Yeah,
they
like,
ever elaborate on the jackpot thing? Because that would be insane.
They did
wait.
not meaningfully elaborate on Jackpot.
Oh God, like who?
Wait, what does a jackpot mean?
I mean, just the
Jackpot
idea
was like a film is a character.
who is occasionally Mary Jane in the comics.
I'm sure that they would have picked one of the other jackpots.
But just like the entire concept, anytime Jackpot shows up, it's like, oh, did Mary Jane get a superhero identity? Oh no, it's this other person. And like, then the
It's
other
a
person,
different redhead that the artist is horny about.
right? And then the
Okay.
person exists for 2 issues, and then they never exist ever again.
Thank God. Someone posted
the
a
world's
list of all.
biggest Sarah Arrett fans.
Someone posted a list of all 768 characters that Sony has rights to use.
Good lord.
They have, for instance, Black Cat. That's great. They have Black Tarantula 1 and 2.
That's not a character. Those aren't real.
They have,
Black Tarantula's real. You can't make them unreal.
let's see here. They have Brother Power, the Freak. Oh
I
my
feel like a Black Cat movie that's a heist movie could work. I don't think Sony could make it work, but I feel like it could.
God.
Also, give me this link, Amplivigor. I want to look at these.
Okay,
I'm,
so,
I'm
like-
dropping it. I'm dropping it in general, so everyone has to suffer. Okay, they have. Let's see here. They have Chameleon. They have
They have a
Crime
character
Master
named
1 and Crime Master 2.
They have a character named Banjo.
Banjo!
All I think of is the bear with a bird in his backpack. But I'm
Oh my
assuming
God.
something else.
Okay, they have Demo Goblin. which is Hobgoblin when he is fused with They can't use the demon though. They can't use the demon that he made a deal with because that demon is technically a Doctor Strange villain.
But they
Imagine
can't just
having
use
a
Satan
character
because
named-
that was copyrighted.
Imagine having a character named Big Man.
Big man.
They have that in Splatoon.
That's true. They
It
don't.
works.
They don't want to confuse the
Lord.
property with a
Oh,
giant
my
fillet.
God.
Ooh, they have
Okay.
El Uno and El Toro Negro.
I
Black
love their
Bull.
tag team match.
The Black Bull.
Caretaker of
Firearm.
Arcturus 4.
Okay,
Oh god, they have
I'm-
Fancy Dan 1 and 2.
Fancy Dan's
Okay.
pretty rad when
Oh,
he
yeah.
shows up.
I'm looking this up now. All right,
Frustation.
Foxy Briggs. This character is not as sexy as their name implied.
It's disappointing, isn't it?
It really is. I'm kind of upset.
Emperor of the Eastern Galactic Sector.
I do love that they wrote one of these characters down as Gatekeeper, comma, the.
They do have Crusher Hogan.
Oh, hell yeah. The Crusher. Oh, Goblin 2099.
But he's
Gabriel
not allowed to
O'Hara.
absorb anything.
He is not. He cannot be the absorbing man. But by God, he can be a gigantic Irishman.
Dog.
What?
Okay, who's Joey Z? I'm pretty sure that's just a YouTuber.
Oh shit! They can have Jack O'Lantern.
Oh, yeah.
They
I
have
forgot how many
various
goddamn-
goblins available to them.
I forgot how many goblins there are. Jesus.
There are so
There's
many
a lot
goblins.
of goblins.
You love Dr. Barton Hamilton.
Good Lord.
The people demand both lashers.
All right, who is Living Brain? I need to know.
You take a guess.
I am a giant brain.
I'm just assuming it's. I'm seeing like a green robot thing, and I was really hoping to see
Yeah.
Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, you
Vic
see-
slaughters mercenaries.
Living Brain is what happens when it falls to Stan Lee to create MODOK.
Oh, God.
Kind of sucks that like Stan Lee sucks.
Oh yeah, no. Stan Lee.
He sucked in exactly the way that most people of that era do, though.
Yeah,
He was
like,
at least
you know,
charismatic about it.
He was very charismatic.
They had, I forgot Man Spider.
Yeah, good old man spider.
Good old man.
Spider.
Can they do
I forgot how many
doppelganger?
Cravens there were,
Like
because I just think of
Man-Bat.
Craven
So
being
many
one dude.
Cravens.
Is doppelganger in the list?
Ooh, you can have yes, they have they have Doppelganger,
Okay.
and they have Monster of the Moors, aka the Madman of Mansion Slade.
Of
How
course.
do you feel about Man Mountain Marco?
I
Man
love him.
Mountain
I loved his run in Big Japan Pro Wrestling.
He does he had a good run. He was a good big gaijin. He can move.
Hey, and then there's Nails Hogan, the the forgettable hardcore era Hogan run,
Yeah.
Crusher Hogan run. Ah, God, Nightwatch.
God. Now I'm thinking
Osborne
about
Norman clone.
totally unrelated to everything we're talking about. Now all I can think about is Stan Lee doing a cameo in
Jesus Christ,
Teen
Gabe.
Titans Go to the Movies. Where the entire
yeah.
thing
I
is just
remember
him
that.
shouting about
He's
how
just talking
he
about how much
loves
he likes cameoing and
cameos.
things.
And then like finding out that he's in the wrong company's movie and being like, shit, I gotta get out of here.
But then
That-
he comes back and it's like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I just like being in things.
You know what they should do? They should bring back the story arc where it's revealed that Gwen Stacy was cheating on Peter Parker with Norman Osborn.
Oh God, that's since past, which they brought back recently.
That's incredible. I love that. That's so good.
Like since past is one of those things where it's like the true psychosis undergirding all of like Joe Quesada's decisions really like slides into place. It's like because like the original plan is like, oh, they're Peter's kids, and he's like, no, it'll make Peter feel old. It can't be Peter's kids. It's like, okay, so you decided that she fucked Norman Osborn. What?
The man who killed her.
I have
The man
to
who killed
imagine-
her, who was also like 50 at the time.
Yeah, and it was
What-
also
what-
like friends. Like she hung out with Norman Osborn Jr.
Yeah,
So-
she was good friends with Norman Jr.
With
like,
Yeah, so
Yeah,
she
with
just fucked her
Harry.
friend's dad. Like, all right.
Yeah, like it's really off-putting. Like it's like the only thing that could make you think that was a good idea is like some sort of raw like psychosis.
well, no.
Yes.
Joe Quesada also greenlit the story where it is revealed that Peter Parker's biological mother is actually Aunt May.
Oh yeah,
Because
Trouble.
when-
Beloved
Trouble.
storyline
because the
Trouble.
thing about Aunt May in high school you've got to realize is that she loved to fuck. She just couldn't get enough.
That's upsetting.
So much.
I'm sorry. Can you
It
can you
sucks
post
so
the cover
much.
of that comic because
wait.
Oh god.
I mean I'm playing a video
I'm
game
sorry,
right now.
Can we just take one step backwards here? Like, so Aunt May, the old lady, is Peter Parker's
Yes.
mom because she
Yes,
loved
somehow.
to fuck in
Don't worry
high
about it.
school, specifically high
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, no, you see,
Shouldn't
Yeah.
then she be like Peter Parker's weirdly young mom?
well, you see, that's the other
Yes.
thing. Joe Quesada did was he brought back Aunt May and made her like much younger.
I
Fucked
don't
up.
want to post the trouble cover without like warning in the general chat because I feel like I should be on a watch list for seeing it.
Just do it, man.
Now I'm
I'm throwing
curious.
worse than there.
Okay, I'm
Ugh.
spoilering it. Spoilers, bad comic book cover.
Trouble.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Like, there's just this thing when you stop and take a breath and take a step back, and look at Joe Quesada's run on Joe Quesada's run like
Oh god damn it!
through
What
the,
the fuck am I
through the
looking
Spider-Man books.
That's just
You
a
start to realize
photograph of two random 16-year-olds.
One of them's
That's
Aunt
right.
May.
I can't look because I don't have internet. I'm on data.
You're free.
right. You're free.
No.
You're
Well,
really,
like, again,
It's,
really
it's
free.
just
the thing.
troubling. It's just
It is
off-putting.
upsetting.
There is a very clear. I mean, there's just a very, very clear like implication you take when you look at a man in a creative, in a creative, role, and over and over again, he's just like, no, you don't understand. Like Spider-Man can't feel old. The answer is, older guys just have to be stupping hot high school girls all over the place. It just has to
Like,
happen
it-
over and over again.
Like it brings to mind like there's so many things that like as has been a tradition for decades in the comics industry, like one dude refuses to like work through any of his like myriad brain problems and just turns it into the editorial direction for an entire American iconic brand.
Yeah, no.
Ugh.
Like this is what leads to us. This is what leads us to infamous things like the internal DC email. The rape pages are in.
God, was
God.
that for Identity Crisis or for something
Yep,
else?
that was Identity Crisis.
Of course,
Ugh.
it was Identity Crisis.
What?
Don't
Don't.
look it up. Don't look it up.
Don't.
It
No.
was a terrible
It's from
time
before you
for
were born.
comics.
You're allowed to be free of it.
You're
God,
free.
it was before he was born.
Yep. The
What
whole
year?
thing about Identity Crisis is that
2005, I think.
there was this.
Oh.
It was 2005.
Just barely.
And DC was looking around and being like, Marvel books are so much more grown up than DC books are. Like they've got the Ultimates and shit. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take 3 of the most wholesome Silver Age characters we've got, and we're gonna put them at the center of a murder, suicide, rape cover-up storyline.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Well, now don't discount the
Yeah.
fact that what was the famous quote unquote writer that they got to do that?
Wasn't it
Frank
J.
Miller?
Michael Straczynski?
No,
That's
it was.
Frank Miller.
Don't believe
That
it was.
doesn't feel like a
Straczynski.
Straczynski move.
Okay.
Brad Meltzer. Or
I'm
something?
checking it.
Brad Meltzer.
That's-
Yep.
Yep, that's it.
Like
The
yeah.
whole part of the point of that was like, look at us, we've got a big boy writer writing stuff for us,
Yeah,
and
he wrote.
it was
he
absolute
wrote
bullshit.
legal thrillers.
Right.
No.
It wasn't like, oh man, this comic's titan. It was like, it was just a matter of like getting like somebody famous to do your thing, but they have no experience in the field.
He wrote the
still,
aughts version. He wrote the aughts version of a goddamn true crime podcast. and they treated getting this guy like, no, this is the moment that comics grow up.
Yeah,
We have arrived.
that was 100%. We have arrived.
I'm trying to think of like a worse because I'm like thinking about like casting it as like jealousy over the Ultimates. I'm just like, God, which Ultimates was it that canonized? Ah, yes, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are fucking.
That was
Oh,
Ultimates
God.
3.
Boy.
Was
Okay,
it
that was
3 or
Ultimates
2? I
3.
thought
That-
2 was like already going in that direction, if memory serves.
Ultimates 2 like flirted with the line like in a way that only Mark Miller would think was interesting. But no, Ultimates 3 was written by
Jeff
God.
Loeb, I think.
Yeah, it was written by Jeff Loeb and drawn by Joe Madureira, and it came out in 2008. And I'm sure that issue 3 will come out any day now.
Two Ultimate Universe reboots later.
Jeff Loeb, wasn't he the guy who did the Long Halloween?
Long Halloween. Yeah, he went really, really nuts after his son died.
Fair.
Like, I'm not gonna like, that's not an excuse, but it is like context.
It's like, yeah, Jeff Loeb's son died at the age of 17.
Oh, that's
Jeff Loeb did not. Jeff Loeb came out of it
A broken man.
a shattered individual.
I mean,
And
honestly, I get it. That would shatter an individual.
absolutely.
Like, it shattered
It's
him
back
in
to
ways
that.
that are very difficult to comprehend. I'm sure they made sense in his head,
Yeah. I mean,
but you know, to an outside observer, it's just like, how is this how you process?
because the two things he has a head full of are unimaginable grief and comics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
so
would,
it's just
that would
like,
do it.
like the only way to describe it is just like someone whose only method of processing at the time is writing more comics, who has tons of knowledge and also feels nothing but grim and bitter hatred of the world at this exact moment.
Yep. Okay, shifting gears real fast. Here is a character that Sony has rights to that shocks me because it's the Wendigo.
How did they get
Because-
that? That is like an X-Men thing.
The Wendigo is technically an Alpha Flight villain.
Oh man, that's way out in the reaches of the X-Men.
Yeah, that I know
But
it is
he
sub X-Men,
first-
but it's X-Men. But like Wolverine
He
fights the
first
Wendigo
appeared
every other
in
day.
Amazing Spider-Man 277.
That's amazing. Like, even Hulk, like, if memory serves, Wolverine's introduction was Hulk versus the Wendigo, and then
Yep.
Wolverine shows up to take care of it. Like, that was the
So
first
this is-
Wolverine comic.
It
So
was.
this is not important, but I need to ask this: how are there 7 Scarlet Spiders?
Well, you know,
How?
Do you understand how cloning works? Because that was
Yeah, I
a
was gonna
big
say,
thing.
fanboy. It says
None of the others are
maximum-
clones.
No, maximum clonage. Not
God.
lots of clonage. Not like a significance of clonage. Maximum. Clonage.
I mean, was that literally
honestly, it
the
just struck
story?
me as very obvious that there would be 7 Scarlet Spiders because they all start with S.
there you go.
If memory serves, there was a story. I mean, I say recently, but it's a relative statement. But if memory serves, there was a Spider-Man clone story where, like, the whole concept was that Ben Reilly just got fucking nuts about cloning himself and, like, Jackals and just everybody he knew, and was just like, why don't we clone everyone ever forever? And that was like the
thing I'd
entire
like to
story.
point out is I'm pretty sure none of these other dudes are. I'm pretty sure that like at least half of these other dudes are not Spider-Man clones.
Oh shit.
Like counter programming.
Now,
You
programming.
know what? You know what? They've got let's see here. They've got full acclamation combat and defense Exploskeleton.
That sounds like a Beat movie.
It does actually.
What
they've also
does this
got-
have?
Schizoid Man.
They've also got the thermodynamic man and
Oh.
fire.
Repeat that. Repeat what that was, because I don't think Beat heard the skeleton thing.
Yeah, run
Okay,
this
so
by me again.
they have
Skeleton.
full acclamation combat and defense Exploskeleton.
Okay. I don't get it.
Exoskeleton.
Explode. I mean, that is pretty cool, but like, I don't think I understood it.
I don't. I've read it. I'm staring at the face and it doesn't make sense. Okay, 3 characters that I am heartbroken they don't have access to. First,
Oh, no.
Scourge. Second, I am. It's heartbroken they don't have access to Alpha Flight. And third, Fin Fang Foom. Any one of these characters would let them. Any one of these characters in a Venom picture would be exquisite.
Wait,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
God,
They've
I
got
can
Fin
just-
Fang Foom.
They
No,
do
they
not
don't have
have
Fin
Fin
Fang.
Fang.
Oh,
They
my
don't.
bad.
And that is tragic because I could absolutely see that fight. It would
Absolutely.
be the dumbest thing imaginable, and it would be beautiful.
I had forgotten. Like I'm looking at this again. I had forgotten that She Venom existed.
Yep.
A character that like sits in the proud tradition of I want to jack off to this dude, but I don't want to feel gay while doing it.
Yep. Yep.
Is
Okay,
that just
they've-
like any of the many times that Venom has like used a female host? Because that's happened like
Yeah.
once in the movie at least.
Yeah, Venom.
Yeah.
Venom has canonically impregnated another male character, given birth.
It's
Venom
true.
has. Let's see. Yeah, no,
My
it is
wife-
true.
One
Yeah,
one
I
of
have
the
to share
most.
the story.
Okay.
I have to share this real quick. My wife just leaned into the living room from like the hallway and just said Eddie a bunch of times because she overheard
That's
me.
good. I appreciate that.
That's good. That's good.
She continues to be cool.
My wife is better than anybody on this call.
That's
Sorry,
it's-
everybody on
I'm
this
glad.
call.
I'm glad you love your wife better than you love me. Otherwise, we'd have to have a
Thank-
conversation.
Yeah, no, we would have to have a very
An
serious
unpleasant conversation for all.
Nobody's enjoying that conversation.
Oh my goodness. Okay, they have the rights to a street gang of teenage thugs who are named John, Paul, Ringo, and George.
Are they
No.
okay? So this is gonna be like the worst thing I'm gonna say all night by a huge
Oh,
margin.
no.
Are they named the Beat Alls because they beat everybody?
I wish. That's a that
That's a
that
Powerpuff
is
Girls joke.
Powerpuff
Yes,
Girls
that's-
joke.
Yeah, I was about to
That's
say.
what I was
No.
thinking.
No, their gang has no name, but they appear in Spectacular Spider-Man 110.
Important.
They also have rights to let's see here, the Waiters, a group of tuxedo-wearing assassins,
Band of baddies.
band of baddies, and the amazing Siskinski sisters, consisting of Sophie Siskinski and her sisters.
The other sisters don't even get named.
Just
All right.
Can't believe
I,
one of these is called the Misfits, and it's not even the one you'd want.
I got something to say. I
All right.
killed your baby today.
I got something to say. I killed your movies today,
Yes,
and
you
I
did.
did it by the worst licensing agreement you've ever seen.
Absolutely.
You can't tell me you wouldn't watch the Spider-Man Revenge Squad, aka Legion of Losers.
Oh my god, I would, but yeah, I know I'd watch that. No, I'd fucking watch that in a heartbeat. But seriously, they need to move heaven and earth to get Fin Fang Foom playing opposite Venom.
God, I would watch the shit out of that movie.
I mean, just Venom Godzilla sells itself. I don't care.
Absolutely. Yeah, what if that's it? Like Venom merges with Fin Fang Foom to fight a kaiju? Like, fucking book it, Joe. All right, I got to get some sleep.
Have a good one.
Bye bye.
Ace.
So why are you meeting with the Deku Tree?
Like, I guess this was established in Legend of Mana that we do have a talking tree. But
I mean,
it's
talking
back.
It was
Ever
established
seen an
many
action
times
RPG
ago.
Talking
with a
trees
double
aren't
jump?
exactly uncommon in fantasy games, but like this is the Deku Tree. Why are we dealing with the
Hi,
Deku Tree?
Keithna.
Hi.
I get this.
This game sucks shit, and that's why we haven't been talking about it.
We're extremely mad
I mean,
about
we
it.
are extremely close to be turning off this game because,
Good.
Even Bob wasn't interested in this video game.
like, I mean, I really thought something interesting was gonna get somewhere, but no, it
You
is just...
fool!
Yeah, no, I mean, like, even the Musashi game, at least, like, was inoffensive in its shittiness. This is just, like, why are you even still like the game really fights against you as why are you still here?
Yeah.
A game that feels like it simply has no passion involved in its creation.
Oh, the tree went
Many
angry.
The interesting kind of bad game comes from like entirely misplaced passion. Like it comes from like a production marred by like full of interesting ideas executed with absolutely no idea how to make them happen. This is an uninteresting production because it is like a game where they didn't really come together on what they wanted to do, but not because like everyone had ideas, but because no one seemed to want to make it.
Yeah, instantly I'm probably gonna die against this boss, and then that's officially when I
Good.
give up.
That's the canonical end.
Yeah.
He just dies.
I've already switched to watching Xrd.
You're much better off. Xrd. He's playing Venom.
Yeah, the targeting in this game is just so shit.
Wow.
It's
Got it out of your lost.
non-existent.
No, it does exist, but it just absolutely.
Oh
like,
god.
Yep.
I didn't realize it existed. I kind of regret that it exists.
Like it's just, it will make you sick. Like you can't see what's going on in the game because you're focusing on one enemy that just has absolute havoc physics.
Why?
I just remember,
Why is
like
the,
in
the targeting
2002, people
focused
were
on like a random like trash mob when you've got an enormous tree ripping the ground out to kill you?
game bad.
It's a bad video game.
I'm reminded of how, like, in 2002, people were like, "Oh,
Oops,
the
I
camera
died.
and controls, the camera and targeting in Kingdom Hearts is so bad." And it's like, yeah, it wasn't great, but it's like this was 5 years later, and it's worlds worse.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive.
All right, well that was the mana game for this evening.
Yay!
Get used to
Reddit.
never seeing it again.
Yep, Goggle Bob is now throwing that into the sun.
I can
Yep.
I can safely say that literally every other game will be better than this.
Most likely.
That doesn't mean much in a lot of contexts.
It,
but
it doesn't, but I can at least
really
say
doesn't.
that there are games I can tolerate better. All right,
enough.
well, mana has been donned. I'm gonna go watch some Zerd.
All right, I'm gonna go to bed. Good night, gang.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Alright.